Hi students, today's topic is hormones, definition and classification. What's the definition of hormone? Hormones have the three characteristics mainly. One is they are the non-nutrient chemicals. They are the non-nutrient chemicals. Number two, intercellular messengers. Intercellular messengers, and they are released in the trace amounts. They are non-nutrient chemicals, as different from amino acids, vitamins. They are the nutrients, isn't it? So as different from glucose, vitamins, isn't it, etc. They are the nutrients. But these are the non-nutrient chemicals. The hormones are not at all concerned with the nutrition. They are non-nutrient chemicals. And they are the intercellular messengers. What is a messenger? Which carries information from this to the that to the this, isn't it? Just like your phone, that is a messenger, isn't it? It sends some messages to the WhatsApp. The same way, intercellular messengers. What is intercellular? Between the cells. For example, these are the cells, bacho. Here, these to this, these to this, these to this, these to this here. There is a communication. There is a signaling going on. That is called as intercellular messages are passed through these hormones here. That's why there is a chemical coordination. Because of this chemical coordination, there is an integration in the body. Amazing chapter, chemical coordination and integration, bacho. Clear students? So there is an intercellular signaling is there, 1 to 7, 1 to 1. Communication is there between the different cells, among the different cells. That's why they act as the intercellular messengers. And hormones are released in the trace amounts. What is the meaning of trace amounts? Very small amounts. Very small amounts. That's the meaning of trace amounts. So hormones, they are actually released in the very smaller quantities from the respective organs or glands, as the case may be. But they have the potential to give the much more effect. They signifies the bodies, they commands the total physiological and biochemical functions of the human body. They have the potential. They can command total physiology of the human body, even though they are released in the trace amounts, very small amounts. So with these characteristics, let's define the hormone, students. Hormones are the non-nutrient chemicals which act as the intercellular messengers and are released in the trace amounts, that is very small amounts. That's the definition of hormones here. Now let's go to the classification of hormones. It's not given in NCERT, bacho, but it's very important from Neet point of view. That's why I have chosen to explain this one as well. In the next lecture, I will be discussing the hypothalamus following the different endocrine glands here, the subsequent videos here. Okay, students? And here I want to ask you a question. All of you type in the comment box. Which is the first hormone discovered? First hormone discovered. First question. And by whom? And next one is, the term hormone was coined by whom? All of you type in the comment box below. Okay. So let's discuss the classification of hormones now. Classification of hormones. That is types of hormones. Basically, there are two types of hormones out there. One is called as the water-soluble hormones and lipid-soluble hormones. Lipid-soluble hormones. Water-soluble hormones, as the name indicates, they are soluble in water. Much of blood, that is blood plasma here, is made of water. So whenever the water-soluble hormones are released into the plasma, they are directly soluble and circulated in the blood in the free form. The water-soluble hormones are circulated in the blood in the free form because they are water soluble. As the name indicates, they are water soluble and they are circulated in the human body in the free form. That's mean the presence of water soluble hormones. So totally opposite is the lipid soluble hormones. They are water insoluble. They are not soluble in water. These are soluble in water. Whereas lipid soluble hormones are insoluble in water. Insoluble in water. Because they are insoluble, they cannot be circulated in the blood in the free form. They can't be circulated in the blood in the free form. Hence, these lipid soluble hormones are attached to which one? Plasma proteins. They are attached to the plasma proteins. For example, this is a protein, plasma protein. For example, this is a plasma protein. Example. And to this attached here, what is this? Hormone, like this here. This is the hormone. The hormone attaches to the plasma protein present in the plasma, then transported. Why this is arrangement here, bacho? Because these are lipid soluble hormones are soluble in the lipids, but not in the water. Isn't it? That's why to circulate, the lipid soluble hormones are attaching to which one? The plasma proteins and circulating in the human body. That is a basic difference between the water soluble and lipid soluble hormones. Very simple. And what are the different water soluble hormones and what are the lipid soluble hormones? Let's discuss now. Clear students. So water soluble hormones are of different types here. First of all, let's discuss what are the different types of water soluble hormones. One is amine hormone. Amine hormone. What is meant by amine hormone? The hormone which is derived from the single amino acid. As you know, amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. Amine hormone means a hormone which is derived from single amino acid. The hormone which is derived from single amino acid is called as the amine hormone. Examples of these amine hormones. Examples. Here hormone, here amino acid and hormone. Here amino acid, for example, tryptophan. Tryptophan is an amino acid from which a hormone called as melatonin is derived. Melatonin is a hormone released by the pineal gland. We'll be discussing this one in the subsequent lectures. What is melatonin? Just remember that it's a hormone which is derived from an amino acid called as tryptophan. So this is an example of an amine hormone. The second example now. These are the examples now. Amino acid, next one is a tyrosine. Tyrosine is an amino acid from which the thyroxine is derived from. Thyroxine, for example. That is, thyroid hormones are derived from tyrosine, single amino acid called as the tyrosine. Tyrosine is an amino acid which gives rise to the thyroid hormones. Example, thyroxine. And this is A, for example. These can also give us which one? Another category of hormones called as catecholamines. Catecholamines. You see here, amines is there because it derived from single amino acid, catecholamines. Now, what are the two catecholamines? One is epinephrine. Epinephrine and norepinephrine. Norepinephrine are the examples of catecholamines and they are derived from a single amino acid called as tyrosine. Tyrosine also gives us the thyroxine. And these are the examples of which one? Amine hormones. And they are the first examples of which one? Water soluble hormones here. Amine hormones, they are derived from single amino acid. Example, tryptophan, which gives rise to the hormone called as melatonin, and tyrosine, thyroxine, and also catecholamines. Example of catecholamines, epinephrine and norepinephrine. What are these thyroxine, melatonin, these hormones? We will be discussing in the subsequent lectures here. No need to worry, okay students? So these are the amine hormones, the first category of water soluble. The second category, let's discuss now. the second category of water soluble hormones. They are called as the peptide hormones. Second category is called, first category we have discussed, isn't it? The second category is called as the peptide hormones. Peptide hormones. Now peptides, what are peptides? Many amino acids, they form a peptide molecule, isn't it? Example, this is an amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, blah blah blah. Here many chains, this forms a polypeptide. Polypeptide. Many polypeptides, they form which one? A protein molecule, like this. One polypeptide, another polypeptide, like this here. Peptide, they are held together by peptide bonds, they form a protein molecule. So what is a peptide? Peptide means it's a combination of many amino acids here. Isn't it? Many are there. If it is a single amino acid, amino hormone. But here, many amino acids are combined, just like a bead chain. Just like a bead chain here. Many strings are there between the beads, isn't it? Like this, when the bead chain, the peptide hormone is formed here. Okay, students. That is called as a peptide hormone. In these peptide hormones, minimum of 3 amino acids must be there. Minimum of 3 amino acids and up to 49 amino acids here. 49 amino acids. In the peptide chain, minimum 3 amino acids should be there. And maximum of how much? 49 amino acids. Such a hormone is called as a peptide hormone, chemically here. Okay, students. Now, what are the examples of peptide hormones? Examples: hypothalamic hormones. Hypothalamic hormones. What is hypothalamus? It's a part of the diencephalon. The floor of the diencephalon, a part of the brain, contains the hypothalamus. In the next video lecture, I will be discussing what is hypothalamus and what its role in the endocrine system we'll be discussing here. Okay, students? Just remember that the hypothalamus releases 2 hormones. What is that? One is the oxytocin. Oxytocin. Number 2 is vasopressin. Vasopressin. Also called as anti-diuretic hormone. What is this role? We'll be discussing in the next video lecture. Okay. Just remember that examples of peptide hormones are hypothalamic hormones. The hormones which are released by the hypothalamus. There are 2 hypothalamic hormones are there. One is oxytocin. Other is a vasopressin, also called as a ADH hormone or anti-diuretic hormone here. And they are made of how many? 3 to 49 amino acids. That's why the examples of the peptide hormones. If it is a single amino acid, amino hormone here. Okay, students. Next one is let's discuss the protein hormones. The third category is called as the protein hormones. Protein hormones here. Here in the protein hormones, here 50 amino acids to 200 amino acids are there here. See here in the peptide hormones, minimum 3 to 49, whereas in the protein 50. Here 49 ends. Here 50 starts. 50 to 200 amino acid. Such a hormone is called as a protein hormone. Now examples of protein hormones are P starts with which one? Protein. See it? P for protein. In the same way, P for parathyroid. Parathyroid hormone called as parathormone. That is one example. Now examples here. One is P here. In this way you can remember easily protein hormone P. And parathyroid hormone called as parathormone P again. Next one is hormones of pancreas. Hormones of pancreas. Pancreas hormones. What are the famous examples, bacho? One is insulin and glucagon. Insulin and glucagon are the examples of pancreas hormones. They are the examples of the protein hormones. Where the minimum of 50 to maximum of 200 amino acids are there. And examples of parathyroid hormone, P here P. Parathyroid hormone is a parathormone. And here again P, pancreas protein hormone. In this way you can easily remember here. Okay, students. Next one is Pituitary, anterior pituitary hormones. Anterior pituitary hormones. The hormones released by the anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Here again P here. Pituitary here stands for P. Pancreas P. Parathyroid P. Protein hormones P here. In this way, you can easily remember here. Okay, students. Now these are the examples here of the water soluble hormones which are soluble in the water. Bacho. Here what is that? One is the amine hormone, peptide hormone, and protein hormones are the examples of the water soluble. Next one is the lipid soluble hormones. Let's discuss the lipid soluble hormones here. Okay, students. So second type, here now, till now we have been discussing the first type, now second type called as lipid soluble hormones. Lipid soluble, they are water insoluble, they are not soluble in water and they are soluble in the lipids. That's why they are called as lipid soluble hormones. What is that? The first category is called as steroid hormones. Steroid hormones. The hormones which are derived from cholesterol. The hormones which are derived from cholesterol are called as steroid hormones. See here, sterol, cholesterol, esterol. Why here? And that's why they named steroid hormones, because they are derived from cholesterol. It's a fat derivative, isn't it? Lipid derivative, that is a cholesterol. That's why it's called as a lipid soluble hormone. They are binding to the plasma proteins and get circulated in the blood because they are water insoluble, isn't it? So cholesterol, the hormones they are derived from cholesterol are called as steroid hormones. Examples of steroid hormones now: testosterone, testosterone, the male sex hormone, testosterone, estrogen. Estrogen, the female sex hormone. Next one, progesterone. Progesterone. See here, sterone. Next one is aldosterone. Aldosterone. These are all the derivatives of cholesterol. That's why they are the examples of the steroid hormones. Clear, students? Next one is the second category of lipid soluble hormones are the thyroid hormones. Thyroid hormones called as iodothyronins. The thyroid hormones are also called as iodothyronins. Why iodothyronins? Because there is a combination of tyrosine. Tyrosine is an amino acid. Tyrosine is an amino acid which combines with the iodine molecule. Iodine molecule. Tyrosine is an amino acid which combines with the iodine to form the iodothyronin. This iodothyronin is nothing but thyroid hormones. There are two categories of iodothyronins, bacho. One is a T3 and T4. Triiodothyronin. Triiodothyronin. And T4 is a tetra. 4 means tetra, isn't it? Triiodo. Tri means 3. Triangle we say, isn't it? So triiodothyronin T3 and tetraiodothyronin T4 hormones. Tetraiodothyronin is nothing but thyroxine. Thyroxine here. So these are the iodothyronins here. What are iodothyronins? Thyroid hormones which are formed by the combination of an amino acid called as tyrosine and iodine molecule. That's why iodothyronins. These are also the examples of the lipid soluble hormones here. Okay, students. Now the last category of the special category of the hormones are called as prostaglandins. They are called as prostaglandins. Prostaglandins What are prostaglandins? I write here, okay? Prostaglandins. These are the special category hormones and the essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids here. FAs I am writing here, fatty acids. Essential fatty acids. Two categories are there. One is omega 3 fatty acids and omega 6 fatty acids. These are called as essential fatty acids, from which a group of molecules called as eicosanoids are derived here. Eicosanoids. The group of molecules called as eicosanoids are derived from which one? Essential fatty acids called as omega 3 fatty acids and omega 6 fatty acids. Eicosanoids. And from eicosanoids are derived which one? The prostaglandins. Prostaglandins. These are the special category hormones which are derived from group of molecules called as eicosanoids. Eicosanoids are the special molecules which are derived from essential fatty acids called as omega 3 fatty acids and omega 6 fatty acids here. Now, omega 6 fatty acid example is arachidonic acid here. Arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid is an example of omega 6 fatty acids from which the prostaglandins are derived here. Now, these prostaglandins are present whenever there is an infection, the cell death, cell injury, there is an infection. Isn't it? There is an inflammation. When the cell is undergoing when the tissue is undergoing the damage, tissue damage or injury of a body part or inflammation, then these prostaglandins are activated to repair the body. That is, they act on each and every cell when there is a problem. That is, this is a very, very important from Neet point of view, prostaglandins here. Even though it's not mentioned in NCERT directly, he may give here. India may give from prostaglandins as well here. Okay, students? So this is a classification of hormones, bacho. In the next video lecture, we will be studying the hypothalamus. Okay, students?